Good evening, I hope everyone's well today, thank you for watching as always. Reform UK, Advance UK, Restore, UKIP. What have they all got in common? All of the members and all of the grassroots are fighting at the moment, like rats in a sack. And I, for one, am not really getting involved in it. The petty sniping between people on YouTube, people online, and people in the comment sections on each people's video, I think it's unedifying and unbecoming. We should all be better. There have been defections from Reform UK to Restore Britain, and there's been information come out in the past 24 hours from the horse's mouth from Nigel Farage himself, that I find really, really problematic and I find outrageous. And that's what this video is about, first and foremost. So I'm going to play the clip now, and this is from Nigel Farage from the conference today, and then we'll unpack it a little bit while we go through it, and this is regarding Rupert Lowe.
Yes, he does. You think I'm going to support him? Probably. But you see, when he stood up and said that we've got to consider the mass deportation of entire communities, including those born in the United Kingdom, that just moves way beyond a point of reasonableness, of decency, of morality, and that was the moment at which, I realised we just had to get rid of him, and get rid of him as quickly as we could.
I want to unpack what Nigel said here in this clip, and as I say, I voted Reform. I have a Reform MP in Runcorn. However, this is outrageous, and he's misrepresenting what Rupert Lowe actually said. Rupert Lowe said anybody complicit in the grooming gangs, predominantly Pakistani Muslim men, should be deported, whether they were born in the United Kingdom or not. I don't see that as an unreasonable position. And not only that, anybody who was complicit, who knew about it, from those communities, should also be deported to country of origin. The confusion that Nigel's having here, and the meltdown that he's having on stage here, is understandable to a degree. The confusion is, under the British Nationality Act 1948, people were allowed from the Dominion and Commonwealth to come over to the United Kingdom and assimilate. Assimilation is the test. These people that committed these atrocious crimes did not assimilate, do not see themselves as British, see white women and the whites in general as inferior to them, or non-believers as inferior to them. This is the issue. So they didn't keep up their end of the bargain in my particular view, and they have no right or place to be in the United Kingdom. I think these are pretty legitimate and mainstream positions. I don't think there's anything particularly extreme about them at all. Again, that's just my view, your mileage may vary. Now obviously there was also trumped up accusations of threats and assault by Zia Yusuf to Rupert Lowe, and all of that was dropped, no charges were brought, and it seems to be a direct attack on a fellow parliamentarian for no other reason than he had this opinion that people who are complicit or explicitly committed these atrocious crimes should be deported. Nowhere did Rupert Lowe say anybody who wasn't involved in these crimes should be deported, and I don't see it as particularly problematic to hold the position that Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe have. So Nigel's dead wrong on this, dead wrong, very tone deaf, and he gets a round of applause in a Reform UK conference as well. This is very, very disheartening for Reform supporters.
And I think in terms of the way we dealt with that, we were probably more brutal than the other parties, but you know what? That's the way it's going to be.
Right, alright, so I'm going to pause that clip here, and I'm going to mention a few other things, not necessarily in Reform UK's defence, because I think this is indefensible. Comment below if you think it's defensible or not, but this is indefensible. But the pragmatic side, Are Advance UK fielding people in the Senate elections this year, in the local elections in England later this year in May, or the Scottish elections, the Hollywood elections? Are they fielding candidates? We've had no word from Restore Britain on this yet. And yes, as I say, I am a Restore member. And this is a guy, he's got a channel, it's Voice of Wales, and this is his pragmatic opinion on what's going on in Wales.
Now, this is a video like I really didn't want to do, right? I'll be totally honest with you. I don't want to do it, still don't want to do it, but I kind of got to, because a lot of people asking questions, and just need to sum it up. Now, what I'm talking about is the post I went out earlier on today regarding myself cancelling my membership of Advance UK, and I just wanted to address the reasons. Now, for anybody who lives in Wales, who has been engaged in politics for some time, you will know, right, you will know that it's a bloody miracle that Wales is potentially going to vote in reform. Now, that is something that you wouldn't have imagined that happening, you know, going back even 5 years. You wouldn't have imagined it happening. But now we're in a position where we're looking at breaking that stranglehold that Labour and Plaid Cymru have had over Wales for 27 years.
I'm going to mirror and echo this slightly, because it's the same story with any seat in the Red Wall that has got a useless backbench Labour MP. That should be the focus of everybody who wants real change in Britain. I'm not saying who to vote for, that's completely your choice, your decision. Pragmatically, Advance UK, are they viable at this point? Pragmatically, are Restore Britain fielding candidates? We don't know yet. I am in this area, and I'm sympathetic to what this guy is saying from Voice of Wales. It's an opportunity to get rid of Plaid Cymru and Labour in Wales. That is a historic opportunity. And it's the same for the Red Wall. Now, me personally, I don't have to take a decision on who to vote for until I think 2027 for the local elections up in Runcorn. And I don't have to take a decision on who to vote for in the general election for 3 years. This is what we mean. We've got lots of time. People bickering on the right at the moment, to be frank, is pointless. Because we are where we are. We don't want the Tories and we don't want Labour. Everything from Reform UK since the Rupert Lowe incident, in my opinion, has been a letdown. Let's call it what it is. It's not going the way that the grassroots of reform wanted it to go, myself being one of them. Let's call it for what it is. Anyway, we'll let this guy continue.
This election is more about getting them out than getting someone in. This is what people need to be absolutely clear of, right? It's not about getting someone in. It's about getting Labour and Plaid out. Now, what needs to happen in Wales is every single person who's centre right, on the right, need to get behind reform. There needs to be one horse that we can all put our money on, right? And we need to do that to make sure that we get Labour and Plaid out. That's why reform are being pushed in.
So we'll leave that here, but I completely agree with him on this point. Comment below, do you agree with him? At the moment, the name of the game is Pragmatism. I'm in that camp. I'll finish here though. All of the policies that Restore Britain have on their website, which I recommend that you go and have a look at, I agree with. Like the cattle doctrine, where you have the right to defend yourself in your home without being dragged through the courts or investigated by the police. Banning of kosher and halal slaughter, mass deportations, an honour system in the United Kingdom, as it were. If you've got indefinite leave to remain, it's not permanent. It can be revoked. It can be removed, and you can be ejected from the country if you don't adhere to our cultural expectations and norms. Making sure we retain Christianity as the dominant religion in the country. All of these things are common sense. Everything out of reform, since the Rupert Lowe incident last year, has been letdown after letdown. Now, pragmatically at this point, I don't have to take a decision on who to vote for. Many of you who don't have local elections don't have to take that decision either. I still think Reform are going to run home this year. They're going to do very well in Wales, and in the shires in England that have got votes this year, and in Scotland. Let's just see what can be achieved. These are just my thoughts. Your mileage, as always, may vary. I am pragmatically on the right, and nobody's entitled to my vote. Nobody. And everyone should be the same. This isn't a football game. You shouldn't be loyal to a particular tribe. I'm calling it as I see it, and I'll continue to do so.
Side. I am on nobody's side, because nobody is on my side.
This admission from Farage today that he kicked out Rupert Lowe because he was too extreme. Well, if that's what Nigel thinks, then I guess I'm extreme. I guess I'm an extremist. Comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day, and thank you for watching.